So, you want to know how to start animation storytelling? Well, in this explainer, we're diving straight into exactly that. Whether you're pitching a new product, teaching a complex concept, or just crafting a really captivating narrative, we're going to discover why building a believable animated world actually starts way before you draw a single line.
But before we even think about touching any software, we have to talk about emotion. Take the poignant Salah el-Din story mentioned in our sources. It's just a simple, animated character dealing with the tragic loss of his family, yet it deeply moved audiences. It wasn't about high-budget Hollywood graphics at all. So how does simple lines and colors actually make us feel such raw emotion? Well, spoiler alert, it is entirely about the storytelling.
All right, here's our roadmap for today. 1. The power of story in animation. 2. Planning and pre-production. 3. Scriptwriting and storyboarding. 4. Bringing characters to life. And 5. Execution and final touches. Let's get right into it.
Starting off with Section 1, the power of story in animation.
Now, technically speaking, animation is just an illusion of movement, a bunch of slightly different images played back super fast. But its true power, it totally bypasses our defenses and speaks directly to the imagination. It's this incredibly effective communication tool that lets you influence, market, and teach, basically building entire concepts right out of thin air.
To actually harness that power, every single professional pipeline uses 3 overarching phases: pre-production, production, and post-production. You literally can't just jump into your software and start clicking buttons. You have to build that structural foundation first. Which brings us right to Section 2, planning and pre-production.
Look, this brainstorming phase is absolutely crucial. It anchors your entire project. If your audience and message aren't crystal clear right now, the whole animation is going to fall flat later. You need to define your core goal, figure out your exact target age, and pick a visual style that actually matches. I mean, you wouldn't use dark, somber colors for a kid's educational video, right? Nailing all of this down now saves you weeks of wasted rendering later on.
Moving on to Section 3, script writing and storyboarding.
Okay, here's a massive rule for scriptwriting. Less is usually more. By minimizing your dialogue, you're actually forcing your visuals to do the heavy lifting. A strong hook grabs them, for sure, but a rich visual narrative is what keeps them around. You really want your viewer to watch a story unfold, not just sit there listening to a static character deliver a boring lecture.
Once that script is totally locked in, you translate those words into a storyboard. It's kind of like making a comic book version of your final project. Think of it as a stress test for your story. It ensures every single shot actually serves the narrative before you go and spend hours animating it.
All right, Section 4, bringing characters to life and animation principles. Our sources, specifically the folks at Kakarabi Network, really hit the nail on the head here. It's all about priorities. A main character needs a ton of vitality to hold attention, but a background object, it just needs simple clarity. Please, do not waste hours perfectly animating a painting on a wall if your main character is standing right in front of it. Your character is the emotional anchor.
But hey, before you even animate, that character needs a soul. Whether you draw them yourself in Paint Tool SAI, hire an artist, or just borrow a PNG template like that Kakarabi Network creator playfully suggests, building a consistent identity is key. Your viewers should know exactly what to expect the second they hit play.
To really sell that movement, we use the classic principles of animation. Let's start with squash and stretch. This is what gives your characters actual weight, so they bounce like a rubber ball instead of just dropping like a rock. By deforming a shape based on its speed and mass, you completely trick the human eye into believing that the object is real.
Another absolute game changer is anticipation. Think about it. When a character is about to take a massive jump, they step back slightly first, right? That little wind-up builds so much tension and primes the viewer's eye for what's about to happen. Without anticipation, your movements are going to feel totally robotic and weightless.
And that brings us to our final part, Section 5, execution tools and final touches. Just look at how incredibly far this art form has come. I mean, from Emile Reynaud's very first cartoon way back in 1892, all the way to modern AI-driven rendering. What used to require a massive studio of artists drawing transparent cells by hand can now be achieved right from your laptop.
For instance, today you have tools like HeyGen acting as your own personal production team. You can literally generate a full explainer in just 4 easy steps. You choose your visual format, paste in your script, adjust the voiceover, and hit Generate. The software handles all the complex rendering for you.
Or, as we saw in the Jopa channel tutorial, platforms like Animaker give you this amazing single dashboard. You can manipulate keyframes, switch a character's emotion from angry to joyful with just one click, set up totally natural walking paths, and instantly sync their lip movements to your recorded audio. It's wild.
But here's the thing, and definitely don't forget this. Visual movement is really only half the magic. Your sound design, that is what truly seals the emotional connection. If your audio is full of static, or if your background music completely drowns out your voiceover, all of that beautiful animation work is going to be completely wasted.
Finally, we hit post-production. This is the moment you release your work to the world. But it's not just about hitting publish. It's about analyzing audience feedback to see if those goals you set way back in the pre-production phase actually resonated with your viewers.
So we've unpacked this entire process, right? From that first tiny spark of a story all the way to the final digital render. You've got the blueprint, the software is ready, and the framework is absolutely set. The only question left to ask yourself is, what story are you going to bring to life next?